Multiplying whole numbers. Tetanus. Cynthia is a medical lab technician who has been asked to run a wound analysis on a patient to determine the extent of tetanus. When she first looked at the sample under the microscope, she recorded 12 bacteria. However, when she returned a day later, she counted 13 times as many. What is the total number of bacteria that Cynthia has recorded in the microscope on her second count? So, to answer this question, we need to use multiplication. First, we need to line up the numbers vertically. We will put the 12 on top and the 13 below it. We now need to multiply. We start by multiplying 2 times 3, which is 6. Then we multiply 1 by 3 in the next spot to get 3. Before we continue multiplying, we need to add a 0 under the 6 in this acts as a placeholder. So now we can begin multiplying again. We will begin with 1 times 2, which is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. Now we have multiplied all the digits. We'll need to add the two numbers together. So 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus 2 is 5. And then we just have the 1. So the bacteria in Cynthia's microscope has grown to 156. Now, before we move any further, let's spend a moment specifically outlining the steps to multiply. When we multiply whole numbers, we need to remember to multiply all the digits together. We also need to remember to use 0 to whole place value. After we have finished multiplying, we add. There are different ways to show multiplication. Many of us have seen the dx, but there's another way to show it. There is a thing as the dot, like this, and then another option is the parentheses, which could be like this, or even like this. Notice that aside from the parentheses, there is no symbol between the numbers on those last two. So let's look at another example. Example 2. 186 times 57. So we're going to start by lining up the numbers vertically. Once again, we place the place values seem to line up. So we have 186 times 57. So now we start with 7 times 6, which is 42. So we put the 2 below and carry the 4. So 7 times 8 is 56. But now we need to add what was carried over, which is the 4. So that equals 60. So let's put the 0 below, and then we're going to carry the 6. So now 7 times 1 is 7, but we're going to add that 6. So that's 13. So we can just write 13 right there. Now we're going to move on to the second number, but before we do that, we add that 0 to hold our place value. So we can start with the tens place when we start with our multiplication on this one. So we have 5 times 6, which is 30. Now I'm going to erase this so we don't get confused with the numbers. So we add the 3 over the 8. So 5 times 8 is 40, but then we add that 3, so that's 43. So we put the 3 right there. And then we're going to carry that 4 over on the 1. So 5 times 1 is 5, but then we add the 4, which is 9. So we have 9 right below. So now we can add. 2 plus 0 is 2. 0 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus 3 is 6. 1 plus 9 is 10. So we can just write 10. So our answer is 10,602. So when multiplying whole numbers, remember to multiply all the digits together and use 0 as a placeholder. And after multiplying, you must add. Now let's take this information and let's get back to our discussion about tetanus. So Damien has recently diagnosed with tetanus. The healthcare professionals are giving him drugs to help prevent the spread of tetanus to the rest of his body. To see if this medication is working, the healthcare professional is conducting a new wound analysis. They would like to see that the number of bacteria in the analysis is under 500 after 1 day of observation. If the first wound sample recorded 16 bacteria and it was 29 times larger after a day of observation, is the spread of tetanus staying under 500? So to solve this problem, we're going to line up the numbers and then we're going to begin multiplying. So we have 16 and 29. So 6 times 9 is 54. Put the 4, we carry the 5. 9 times 1 is 9 plus 5, which is 14. So we're going to write 14 right there. We're going to add the 0 as a placeholder. Then 2 times 6 is 12. We'll erase that 5 because we're going to put a 1 now on top of the 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. But plus 1 is 3. Now we add. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 1 plus 3 is 4. So the answer is 464, which is under 500. So the analysis appears to be that the medication is working to help control the spread of the infection.